We should never allow the government to decide what is acceptable speech and what is unacceptable speech. We should penalize behaviors, not opinions, and not speech. If you start trying to regulate speech, you start trying to regulate thoughts, you start trying to regulate beliefs rather than behaviors, there's no way that you're not going to abridge the constitutional rights of millions of Americans.
My dream about Amran. Early this morning, I dreamed I saw Amran in one of the rooms in our home. I saw he was curled up in bed and I reached out to him and he sat up in bed. He kissed me on the cheek and I kissed him back on his cheek. He smiled at me, saying through his facial expressions that he was happy and he was glad I cared about him. I told him in my eyes, I am only one of millions around the world who care about you, little Amran. Though we don't speak the same language, you can still communicate through your facial expressions and I know he understood me as much as I understood him. I still remember how he looked. Today, his father, Abu Ali Daknish, shared another photograph of Amran with me. His facial expression looked very close to what I saw in my dream, yet I hadn't seen this picture until much later this afternoon after my dream. Is that a coincidence? I think God allowed me to see Amran in that dream, that he actually saw me too. As I have said in previous videos, I have had clairvoyance for many years now. I believe a hereditary gift from my great-grandmother, who was an Indian medicine woman, is where my gift comes from. She descended from a tribe in North Carolina called the Catawban Indians. My mother met her many years ago and she told me, she had the blackest hair and was able to communicate with her son by means of bird calls. She lived about 5 or 8 miles from her son and they would call to each other whenever she had visitors by bird calling to each other. He could hear her in the woods and would come to her as soon as he heard her calling. Dreams have been proven to have telepathic origins. We can see things before they happen because of unknown forces at work. In April 1912, just a day before the Titanic sank in the Atlantic Ocean, a woman woke up having seen the disaster. She tried to tell other people about it but they didn't believe her. When the news reached the mainland of the United States, her friends were in disbelief that she could have seen it before it happened. It is a documented fact that people have had these gifts and have used them to predict future events. I don't say I am a prophet because I haven't seen specific things about the coming nuclear war that the Bible talks about, but I can say that my great-grandfather, on my father's side, had premonitions of a nuclear war during the Second World War. He was assigned as a CB or Construction Corps engineer and began having visions of a nuclear war. In 1948, he was given a medical discharge from the Navy because of his disturbed feelings about the visions he saw. It really upset him to see the nightmarish visions he saw of a pending nuclear conflict. Whenever I see Amran in a dream, I feel blessed that I am able to see him. I believe strongly that God is allowing us to communicate with each other in some way. In 2017, I had just heard that Amran was still alive in Aleppo and his father was going to share their story on the internet. That night, I saw 2 visions. One was of what I now believe was his upstairs window looking down to the city street below. It's how Amran probably sees his neighborhood. The second vision that occurred at the same time in my vision was from street level. It appeared to be of a city street and 1 or 2 people either sitting on the sidewalk or maybe milling around a street market. That vision wasn't as clear as the city street window view from a second-story window like I saw,